everyone. I'd like to welcome all of you back. This is Ohio Exopolitics. I'm your host, Mark Snyder. We've got Alexander McCaig on the line. Alexander, how are you?
Living the dream. It's 9 degrees out here in Santa Fe. Light snow coming down. Solid wind chill. Mark, I'm having a great Sunday.
So it is cold there.
Oh, it's very cold.
Well, I thought maybe you were in the desert and it was warm all the time.
No, Mark, I'm 7,600 feet up in the sky.
Are you?
Yeah, it's considered the high desert.
Do you live like up on a rock?
I live in rocks. I live in a canyon.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. I'm not going to say specifically because I don't want people to come find me, but I do live in a canyon.
Well, I tell you what, you told me we were talking a little bit about a journal last show. I don't know if you remember. You said,
yes,
you should write a journal. So I've been writing it, but not every day. So
what did you
I should be doing it every day. Well, it's really interesting when you get to see your own thoughts. It's hard to tell. It's like it gives you a different perspective. Let me read a few real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Like on the 5th of January, mostly healthy thoughts, feeling positive toward guitar and radio show. On the 6th, I said dark, 25-mile-per-hour winds. Maybe Donna should park at the bottom of the hill.
Did she?
I can't remember. I think she came up. Snow makes seeing gravel driveway impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But another one. Donna was able to see the driveway and get up the hill. There were some other things. I'm going to leave those out. Some of this stuff is a little bit.
You don't have to tell me about what happened in your dreams, Mark.
No.
Nobody needs to hear that on the air.
Felt relaxed, happy today. And then on the 9th, we had blue sky, sunshine. And then again on the 10th, very dark, red morning. But since I had seen myself write it down before, it didn't seem, somehow it made it less traumatic.
Oh, good. You realized there's just a big story in your head.
Yeah, it's like it came back. It was like it appeared again. So, and then of course now I need to get back into it. So I started studying Might of the Thoughts again, starting on page 240. We can go over that a little bit.
Yeah, go for it. But first of all, Mark.
Yeah.
Nice job beginning this practice. And what you'll like to see is you'll start to notice patterns, and you'll start to find out what's really real for you and what isn't. It's very healthy to do this. Now, one of the ways you can write it down, which is one of the ways I started with. Mm-hmm. And then other elements of it is I bought one of those Sony voice recorders.
Well, that's a good idea. Sony voice recorder.
I speak to it. Yeah.
Sony voice recorder.
Yeah, they're cheap, but the audio quality is high. They're easy to recharge. But the point is you build up these habits. It's actually very good to catalog the thoughts. It's super, super healthy.
Yeah, because what it did for me is it made me realize that although the morning was horrible, I had another one like that about 4 days ago. So somehow it didn't bother me as much. I don't know.
Yeah, so was it the actual morning that was horrible? What else really was it? Now you start to get down to the brass tacks of what's actually going on.
Could there have been something else? Is why are you feeling a certain way just because it's real snowy and dark and red and all that?
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's true. Okay, so we can just dive straight into page 240. I don't know if you have your Might of Thoughts book handy.
No, I have it in my head.
You have it in your head. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me read a little bit here.
Yeah, please.
It says, wrong thoughts and views and so forth leave behind deep grooves in the consciousness. Remember we talked about that?
Mm-hmm, we talked about
deep
this.
Grooves. Let's elaborate on this a little bit. So, for example, really bad weather in the winter. If those thoughts run away from you, if you're always looking at the bad weather and generating negative thoughts, then you'll start to build those deep grooves, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Question regarding this for you.
Yeah.
What is bad weather? Is weather bad?
I would say very cold is bad for
Why
my.
is
It's
bad
uncomfortable.
for you?
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. So
it's
cold.
depressing. Why is it depressing? Then the question.
I don't know.
Is it depressing? I think it is. The
Does the
weather affects
roll
me.
into Ohio and be like, we're going to be shit weather today because I need Mark Snyder feeling bad.
Maybe.
Is it the wet? Mark, my point is it the weather?
I think so.
How so?
I think, well, if I don't control the thoughts, if I don't hold on to them so they stay neutral, positive, then they can go negative. And then you could even start to associate the bad weather and the beautiful grace, or the beautiful it'd be nice if it was beautiful, but the dark skies and all that, you can associate that with memories, and you can open up, a whole bag of worms, or whatever you want to call it, I guess, right?
I suppose. Now, what happens, Mark, if I got married on a cloudy day?
You could have a bad marriage because of
yeah. See, yeah. Yeah, go ahead, qualify it. I get it.
You have to change your date.
Your thoughts, Mark. Yeah, change the date.
Change the date of the marriage. That's a good point.
Get to.
But people usually, I see your point. People usually, they schedule things like that for times when they think it's going to be good weather, right?
Yeah, but everybody tries to make the excuse of their emotions or thoughts or feelings on things external for them.
Yeah.
And it's not. The weather's not determining how you feel about something. The weather's doing its job. It's keeping life alive. It's giving things a break from the light when it needs it. It allows sufficient cooling when the cloud coverage comes in, moisture holding. Like, all of these things have to happen for a natural growth of life itself, for its own evolution. But when we look at it, us humans, well, if it's not perfect and it makes me bone-chilling cold, put a jacket on, move.
Yeah.
Weather wasn't designed to harm somebody's thoughts. Weather's designed just to be weather.
So in other words, it's easy to be too dependent on what the environment is like.
Yeah. And then what happens is you can slowly slip down a path and create these grooves in your mind to say that there's all this cosmic influence determining my life. The universe just, it's against me today. No, it's not. It doesn't give a shit about being against you. It wants you to exist. It wants you to evolve. What do you mean it's against you? It's not trying to do those things. But those are the grooves we create. And then that quickly tracks down to a victim-based mindset, a lack of self-responsibility, and a lottery-based mindset. And those things start to form around each other. And when those grooves are there, they're very difficult to get out of.
Thereby, it must simply be seen that human habits, such as the maintenance of wrong thoughts and views, and so forth, leave behind deep grooves in the consciousness. So you would have to say the maintenance of wrong thoughts and views caused the deep grooves, not the bad environment.
No, why have the environment's not in my brain carving it out? You know what I mean?
Right.
With some sort of shiv. No, I'm doing that. I'm doing that with the energy and power of my consciousness to create grooves that probably are not in my best interest.
Right. I can remember I used to have a problem with rotating or repeating negative thoughts. Maybe something happened at work, or maybe a friend said something and it bothered me. So in my mind, I'll say it over and over and over again, overanalyze it. I'm always of the point of view, like, if I can figure it out, I can beat it. But sometimes beating it is just ignoring it, let it dissolve.
Yeah, but what if it's unreal? What if you're actually just chasing nonsense?
It could be.
How do you beat something illogical? Well, be logical. It's to recognize the fact that it's illogical. Who gives a shit that the guy said something? I got people saying bad shit to me all the time. I can't let that control me.
Right.
I can't let that affect my emotions. I need to be self-responsible for these things. Hate all you want, misunderstand all you like. You can't let those things beat on you.
A person, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to.
I want to hear this.
A person that I like, who's a kind of a friend, called one of my other guests a douchebag, and it really kind of bothered me. It didn't really bother me, but I was shocked. I was like, why? How did you say that?
All right, hold on. First of all, who gives a shit?
It's not you. First of all, let me say why you're not involved.
No, I know. All right, listen. I knew you had to bring this up on the air, Mark.
No, it's not you. Has nothing to do with you.
Let me ask you, who gives a shit what the person said? The question is, why did it affect you, Mark?
I think one thing I notice is that people, generally speaking, they need to be a little more polite. This is my opinion, just my view of the world. Be nice, be polite.
So when they're not, does that piss you off?
Generally, no. But it's shocking in a way how, and even let's go to my guy Trump.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need to insult people that much, man. He is like constantly.
It's an antagonist.
Yeah, antagonist. And sometimes it's hilarious. Sometimes, it's kind of cool. But, I think that's a bad thing, too, which we can get off on talk about him for a long time. But because I think, isn't he inaugurated in the next couple of days?
Very soon.
Like in a day or two, I think. Yeah. And I want to talk about the LA fires. I've got a really interesting clip.
Let's do it.
We don't have to do it just yet.
Okay.
Did you want to finish the grooves?
Well, I'm interested in
grooves.
I'm interested in grooves and douchebags. So I want to.
Well, I was kind of shocked because two people that I have a high respect for, and the one's calling the other one a douchebag. So, and I'm like, what? It's like, what? Anyway.
Do you know why you respected them?
Well, they're good guests. They have both written books. Very articulate.
Well, then, he could have used a different word. Douchebag seems kind of like low intelligence.
Yes, exactly.
But them doing something like that, having that interaction, you should respect them more. You want to know why? Because they're human beings and they make mistakes.
Yeah.
And you should be absolutely enamored at the fact that they are messing up. And you would hope that you can respect them so much if they've learned from what they've done. Yeah. It's a great point of opportunity for everybody, all three people involved. The observer of the douchebag, and the person calling the person the douchebag.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I noticed this even like on YouTube's with Fox News and stuff. People are just so rude to each other.
Yeah, that's because they're rude to themselves, Mark.
Is that what it is?
What you're saying is a reflection of your mind and your thoughts, is it not?
Right.
Do you think I don't wake up in the morning and have any ill thoughts towards myself? No self-defamation.
That's
nothing.
Good. That's very good.
And I don't think I'm ever really saying anything to defame other people. I don't try to bring anger towards them. Nothing. I had to become really patient with me first before I could become patient with others. And so many of us. You're okay. So many of us are waiting for something external to happen to affirm, reaffirm, or confirm something internal in ourselves, but we haven't taken the tools we have personally to do that. You have this great thing called the law of free will. It's your choice for how you want to respond to something. And just as much as your friends were doing something that you thought was crass and out of character, it's very much a law of creation for them to do so. So you can't hate them for it. They're just choosing a specific dance through the cosmos of their life to say something like that to someone. And that's for them to learn about. But for you to become disheveled or kind of push sideways, it should offer you a gift, a moment of reflection for why am I feeling this?
Yeah.
Do I think less of this person now? Why would I think less of them? If they're a human being going through a process of learning, making mistakes, I shouldn't think less of the person.
Good point.
And this is where I differ so much from the rest of the general public, because I can't hate somebody that murders. Why could I ever do that? No, but think about this, follow me on this thought process. I can't hate them. I know rapists and murderers and everything else is horrible, genocide, but I can't hate people for it.
Right.
They're fucking up. They're doing something absolutely terrible. No, I don't agree with it. But I have to respect at the deepest level that they are human beings making choices, just as much as I want them to respect the fact that I'm making choices. And I have a creational right to do so. You see that? And the moment I go against that, that's when I'm not being a part of creation. That's when I'm removing myself from the thing that allows me to exist. When I say that's wrong, don't do that, that's not for you to do, I'm in control, or you don't think like me, I'm separating myself from creation. I don't want to do that.
Right.
You feel me?
Yeah. Good points. So these grooves must be slowly repaired again and be made to disappear. Negative, bad, unhealthy, and wrong tendencies thereby naturally protest wildly. And I remember us talking about that. So our wrong tendencies protest wildly. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Yeah. You say, for instance, you have a bad habit. All right?
Okay.
It's got a deep groove.
Yeah.
Now, you wake up one day and you're like, all right, look, I'm sick and tired of this habit, smoking, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to show myself I got the power over the cigarette. All right? Now, you're having a great day. Your body starts to protest. There's a chemical response. It's like, oh, God, give me the fucking nicotine, Mark. Go to the corner shop, spend the $6.50, get the Newport Lights. But Mark's like, no, I can't do that. But your body starts to chemically protest. And then that feeds up into the mind. These grooves, the hormones are starting to go crazy. They're like, I got to pull a drag of this thing. I got to get it back in my lungs.
Wow.
And now as you're trying to fix this thing, there's a protest. And thoughts begin to creep up that try to eradicate all of the logical thought processes you were having to fill those grooves. And they're like, no, we got to keep these things groove in. Okay, like the 1970s, we got to groove hard in here. Okay, and then what you're going to do is they're going to be protesting so loud, you can't hear anything else in your head other than the fact that I need a cigarette. That is what I need. I need that next thing right now. And then your body becomes this mechanism that is an external view of what is happening in the brain. And what do? You go to another shop. You call your friend. Knock on your neighbor's door. You go to a party. Buddy, you got a light? You got an extra smoke? I need it. It's been one of those days. And you'll make up every excuse under the sun because the protest has been so loud. You will cave to the protesting of the nature of your own thoughts. And they will be loud. They will be so loud because you've allowed them to be loud.
You know, there are like 200 additives in a cigarette they put in. They add 200 additives.
Mark, did you know that the second you pull a drag, 2,000 chemical reactions happen in the body at one moment?
I didn't know that.
It's almost 10x the additive that goes in there.
Jeez. And so were you able to quit, or is it a constant fight still?
Oh, I don't smoke cigarettes.
Okay. So you never have actually been through that.
I'm not addicted to anything. I have a non-addictive personality. Do I like to smoke a pipe tobacco once in a blue moon? Yeah. Have a cigar once in a blue moon? Yeah. But no way, shape, or form addicted.
Good for you. That's really good. You know, those deep grooves can just be thoughts that rotate. They can just be an experience you had. You know, maybe you and a friend had a disagreement over something, and you can just rotate that deep groove, and they stay for years sometimes if you don't let them dissolve.
Oh, and you can become vindictive because, like, my groove's right.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Good point.
Mark, that's what you got to call your next LP. Deep Grooves.
Deep Grooves.
Mark
That's
Snyder.
a good name. I love that name. Exactly. That's fantastic.
I like that a lot.
Negative, bad, unhealthy, and wrong tendencies will naturally protest wildly. And you really made a good example for that one. Consequently, a reorientation is therefore not only connected with many efforts, rather also with many errors. So you're going to go back to your wrong thinking.
You're going to screw up. In the process, so you've been doing things so wrong. As you're trying to change your life to do something right, you're going to mess up. And then you're going to get down on yourself, like, I can't do it, sob story, whatever. And guess what? You're supposed to screw up. You never even knew how to do it right. But now that you're learning how to do it right, you have to go through the process of reorientation. You will trip. You will not run immediately. You will absolutely trip. You're going to falter, but you can't give up. You have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You have to find the self-power, self-responsibility, the conscious effort and the will to move yourself in the direction of what you really know is right. And don't fall back to those deep grooves. But it's going to be a difficult thing to do.
It's no wonder that people get addicted to smoking.
Yeah,
I'm just very lucky that I never even tried it, never even started. Because both of my sisters are smokers. My parents were smokers, and they're both gone. It's a very real fight that people have, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And people can become addicted to thoughts. They can become addicted to anything else.
Yeah.
There's just, it's really boils down to a lack of control. People are addicted to not eating healthy.
Yeah.
People are addicted to not listening. You can be addicted to a lot of things.
Huh. That's a new one on me there. I never thought about that.
Yeah. Addicted to non-thinking. That's a dangerous one.
Oh, I wanted to bring this up before I thought I lost it. But I have been meditating. I went back to meditating.
Mark, I have goosebumps hearing you say this.
I meditated an hour and a half the other day, and 45 minutes the day before that. But I've had some long sessions. And correct me if I'm wrong about this, but it seems that we carry around a lot of unnecessary thoughts in our head, period.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I noticed about the meditating. Woo, they all went away. I felt so much better. I felt so much better. I didn't even know I was feeling bad. You know what?
No, you don't know, because you don't know. Bad is normal.
Exactly.
Yeah, the meditation's great. So meditation comes from the root word meditatia, right? It's this concentrated balancing that's happening. Mm-hmm. Now, concentration is a huge part of it. And for many people, when you tell them you need them to concentrate, they're typically thinking about something.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation is interesting because it asks you to concentrate on non-thinking. It asks you to concentrate on the fact that when a thought comes in, you need to let it go. It doesn't need to be there. It's unnecessary. We're so addicted to the thoughts flowing through all the time. You're not actually open to being, cosmically receptive of good, logical, loving, Concordian values that would flow through you. But meditation is asking you to practice that. It's saying, Mark, you have all these thoughts. Sit down for a moment. Let's quiet the brain. Let's get these hemispheres to be in sync. Let's pump up that gamma level in the brain. Let's get things functioning appropriately. Let's lubricate them. Let's maintenance the consciousness appropriately, and you will feel good. And it wasn't the meditation that made you feel good, Mark. It's you that made yourself feel good. Meditation was the tool. Yeah. But you had to put in the effort. So I commend you for doing that.
Meditation, I think, can be more restful than sleep.
Oh,
sometimes.
I absolutely agree with that one.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's just so amazing.
Yeah.
And I can't believe it's probably been a year or two since I meditated. Oh my God, it's so stupid.
Do you wonder do you ever ask yourself, like, why did I stop?
Yeah, I'm totally asking myself that. Why? How did I even survive without it? Is somewhat I think too.
Well, I don't think survive is the word. I think live is the word. Because you're not living fully without meditating.
Exactly. That's a great point. You should write that down. We should write that down. You're never fully living until you're meditating.
That's right.
Is that what you said? That's close to what it was.
It's close enough.
Okay. I'm going to continue on this page 240, and then we can go to the fires.
Yeah.
Normally, in such situations, the human being allows himself or herself to be easily defeated by all the negative influences. But that only happens because he or she has lied to himself for a long time as far as his consciousness is concerned, often for years or decades, and has caused him or herself to fail. Therefore, in such a situation, the human being must first confront himself. Could you comment or talk about that? When I read that today, I was wondering, have I confronted myself?
No, you probably haven't. There's a line in the Goblet of Truth, and I'm going to paraphrase this to keep it easy because the goblet's a little complicated. That says, truth, no matter what, will always persist. It will always come back. Doesn't matter if you are, and this is a deep paraphrase, doesn't matter if you're lying to yourself the whole time. The truth will come back. It'll snap back at you really quick, and it's going to rattle and shake the foundation, the false foundation which you've built. You can't avoid it, Mark. Truth is everywhere. And the more you try to avoid it, the harder it hurts. And it's a very good function of truth because it equalizes your bullshit. Now, when someone's lying to themselves for a very long time, the truth is going to come in hard and heavy. And that truth is going to unwind a lot of that crap that has been in there. And it's going to burn. It's going to sting. There will be a fire to it. But you begin to recognize that you have been lying. But the moment that truth comes in, your subconscious also begins to appreciate it because the subconscious is always logical. So it's like, oh, thank goodness. I get a fucking break from Mark Snyder's illogical thoughts all day long that he has been living by, but he hasn't been living by the logic, the truth that needs to occur. Mm-hmm. The subconscious has been fighting with the lies of Mark's thoughts all the time. And for you, and I'm saying you, Mark, but when somebody has been lying for so long, the confrontation will be ugly. And many people break down. They have like some sort of episode or anything else that's occurring, but you have to you're going to have to pony up with the power that you have to confront the shit you've been feeding yourself and actually see that truth, but use that truth as a tool, as a filter. Use it as the thing to cleanse your mind of all the lies that have been in there.
Namely, his personality and consciousness, which must be told that from now on, new, healthy, positive, and progressive thoughts shall and will make possession of him or her and create their might. Mm-hmm. But along with that also belongs the vital knowledge that success is actually achievable and is also reachable. So I guess first we have to tell ourselves success is attainable.
Of course it is. It's always there. No one has said for you, you can't be successful in your life. This is an upper limit problem you have self-defined. This is a quick, easy victim mentality. It's a great way to get out of things. So what you have to do is you have to take that stake and put it in the ground and say, from today, no matter how fucking difficult it is, I am going to do the things which are right, positive, and life-affirming for me. And I know it will be difficult. I know I'm going to have to unwind and unpack a lot of shit that I've told myself. And most people know that they're telling themselves shit. They know they're lying to themselves, but they take it as an easy route. But it will give them no value in the end. But you have to put that stake in the ground. and you have to say, this is where I'm headed. This is my zeal. This is my focus. This is what I want to develop into as a human being. And over time, it will become easier for you. Your interactions will have more health. Your interaction with yourself will become better. The overall state of your body will eradicate the disease of the thought, the physical disease, all of those things will go away. But it fundamentally begins in the consciousness. And your personality is going to be a mirror of those thoughts. So you know when you're meeting someone like, that guy's a charlatan, snake oil salesman, that person, yikes, that is a false face they were putting on. You can see it, you can sense it, but also recognize you do those things in small order, but their personality does it in large. So for you, you truly need to be who you are, but you can't do that until you really affirm for yourself that this is what I want in my life. And if you don't want it, continue to lie. Live your life. Do those things. Have that fake personality. Never know who you truly are at a deep level. Live with the sickness until it physically embodies you in your older age, and then debilitates you to the point where you can't even live. You can't even enjoy the experience, a true, loving, healthy experience of what it means to be a human being. So the question is, what do you want? And really to help affirm that thing, that stake in the ground, to say, I'm going to go forward. This is what I want in life. I'm going to be healthy. I'm not going to lie to myself anymore. Think about your death. Think about how you want that to look at the end. Because if you don't focus on the way out, you don't know where you're going to get to. It's like, what do I want to do at the end? What do I want to see? What would I have wanted to experience? And if you don't focus on that, you can't find those values right here either. You can't define them for yourself. So again, you just live in a fear of something, assuming you live forever in this false personality. And then what? The vapid existence of you, a flash in a pan, a lightning bolt in the sky. That's what you are in the time of this great cosmos, and nothing is left for you. And then what do? You come back and you repeat. Maybe knowing a little bit more. Maybe you found a couple small truths. It's not the same life, but you are going to be afforded the same learning experiences, almost exactly the same, because I'm sure you learned something when you digested it in that afterworld. But when you're back, man, you are not going to be ahead. You're not going to be at the point you wish you were at if you really figured it out in this current life today.
You know, one thing that I puzzle over sometimes is I ask myself, what causes enthusiasm? Sometimes I'm really enthusiastic and sometimes not. Now, one thing that I've remembered again is that meditation seems to increase enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wonder why I have those days when I don't really do what I know I need to be doing. You know, I just put it off as if it's going to go away.
Mark, you just read this. You fucked up. It's
know.
Okay. You don't be so hard on yourself.
Okay, you think I'm just kind of being a little crazy about it.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Listen, it's okay to be like, you want what's best, but recognize you're going to screw up. Mm-hmm. Just like it talked about, like once you get that reorientation, you will screw up. That's fine. But continue to be self-aware of it and screw up less, Mark. Okay, just do it less.
There you go. All right, let me continue here.
Mark, I can't even see you, but I can tell you're glowing right now.
Oh yeah?
It's like you're reaching nirvana on the other side. I can sense it from you.
I'm a bodhisattva.
Bodhisattva.
Yeah, have you ever heard that term?
Yeah.
It's a person who has reached nirvana. I'm a bodhisattva. There's a song, Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva. It's a Steely Dan. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. I love Steely Dan.
Do you really?
Dirty Work too by Steely Dan.
Oh, Dirty Work.
So good.
Yes, it's just great.
That's what we're doing right now. That should be the theme song to Ohio Exopolitics.
Yeah, I'd be up for it. That's great, man.
Love it.
But Bodhisattva. So I'm a Bodhisattva today. I'm into nirvana. Okay. Therefore, okay, let me go back here. It says, okay, that only happens because he or she has lied to himself for a long time. So I think that there is this lying to ourselves, and you kind of alluded to it. Consciousness is often for years and decades that have caused him to fail. Therefore, in such a situation, the human being must confront him or herself, namely his personality and consciousness. which must be told that from now on, new, healthy, positive, and progressive thoughts shall and will take possession of him and create their might.
You got to allow him to do it.
Yeah.
Let the real rich power of consciousness and thoughts take over you. You become unstoppable. You become so sure of yourself, Mark, in your existence. And people are like, oh, that person's cocky. No, it's not cockiness. It's an assurity of who you are deep down. And it can become easily confused because most humans are just met with, other cocky humans with big egos. It's not about the ego.
Right.
It's just I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I strive for in life. I know it deeply. I know that I don't want to create no harm. I know that I want to feel that love, peace, and harmony between people. I want to understand deeply. I want to do what is right by human beings. And you can't be shaken from that path. There's so much power to it. These weak things will come to you, Mark, and they just bounce off.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll hear people's thoughts. When they speak to you, be like, that is so untrue. You start to see the lack of depth in the way they speak. And you'll begin to easily recognize they haven't actually thought these things through. And it'd be very simple for you to say, just no, that's not true. You just have to stop them from their irrational, illogical, lying thoughts to you and to themselves. If they choose to interact with you, you can't be anything but true at that point. It's so hard. It's so hard to just not be truthful. You become so used to it. It's just like you just say it. It is what it is. And it's not to be crass, right? Or cavalier or terse with people. It's just that when you go to lie to them or yourselves, you're wasting everybody's time. All you're doing is damaging. So why do it? Just cut it short. Stop it immediately. If they're lying to you, lying to others, lying to themselves, you're like, no, that's just not true. And if they don't want to fix it, leave them.
You know what would be good is if there was an electronic version of Might of Thoughts that we could search. That'd be great.
What would you want to do with it if you could search it?
Like I would search right now for childhood. Because I know on page 242, I wrote down something that says, from childhood, build positive patterns of thoughts. It makes you immune from all defeats.
See that? That's what I'm getting to.
That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Yeah.
Go to the back. There should be an index.
Here it is. I found it.
Yeah.
It says, and the fact is, were a human being to begin already from childhood to build up a consciously healthy, pure, right, and positive pattern of thoughts, then he would be as good as immune from all the defeats and adverse circumstances which happen to him or her in life, and from all the hostile situations and circumstances and so forth, which attack him or her.
And it will. Inevitably, you will be attacked.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Did you just highlight that?
It's already highlighted. The problem is I've highlighted so much in this book that
it's just all yellow.
It's all yellow.
Wait a minute, I forgot what was important because I highlighted every line.
Everything is important. Right?
Mark, the whole damn thing's important.
Exactly. It's really hard to... Okay. All right. So for now, that's enough for now on that, I think.
Very good. You want to talk about fires?
Yeah. I got a big, huge clip, and we can talk about this while we watch things burn, but I'm gonna have to share my screen and do all that stuff. Okay, so we share screen.
And I'll mute myself.
No, you don't, because I want you to.
You want to comment on the fires?
Yes. Just want to make sure that...
Are you going to throw me under the bus? You're going to have me say something I shouldn't say on air?
No, I don't think so.
Are you going to put me in a corner, Mark?
No. Okay, I finally found what I want to share. I want to share the computer sound.
Go ahead. Beautiful. We're live. Go ahead. Send it.
Okay. Hopefully you can see that. Maybe you can't. Can you see?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to open it up, and it's going to get crazy, and then I'll stop it, and we can talk about it a little bit.
All right.
We had a whole house. Now we have nothing.
That was our chimney where Santa comes and now it's gone.
Everything that we built here to just be gone.
Everyone has lost everything here.
I have to start all over again. I can't.
We have fire up Hastings Ranch, multiple structures involved.
Having the family is the most important thing.
A nightmare that no one can wake up from. That's what they're saying in LA. At least 11 people are dead and even more missing. A chunk of land the size of San Francisco has been destroyed. Some of the most beautiful land in the world. Parts of Pacific Palisades look like Hiroshima after the atomic bomb. Entire communities decimated. In Altadena, about a dozen homes are left in a neighborhood of 5,000 people. 3 major fires are still uncontained as crews are bracing for another weekend of the powerful Santa Ana winds. On the streets, it's turning into the wild, wild west. Looters on scooters ransacking homes. Thieves are dashing through rubble and ash with flat screens. Some of them disguised as fire officials and utility workers. The looting is so out of hand that some residents are scared to leave their burned out homes. The governor, Newsom, says looting will not be tolerated. These communities have suffered enough. Well, unless they loot less than $950, then Gavin doesn't mind.
So let's just take a stop there. Did you have any comment?
On the fire or the looting? I like looters on scooters. It's got a nice ring to it. It's this classic thing when human beings will kick other human beings when they're already down.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is horrible. I also have something else to say. This is probably uncouth. Did you see how close all these homes have been built together?
Yeah, very
well,
bad.
Inevitably what occurs is when you have these wildfire situations and with the change in the global climate and increase in populations, your disasters are exacerbated significantly. And the likelihood of contagion spreading beyond the rate at which crews to be able to respond becomes so likely that you kind of just go with the cosmic wind on this one and let the thing happen. But there's so many people built into tract homes in these neighborhoods, all these things get destroyed. Well, you've built up so much material, not even biomass, but flammable material for it to use and continue to burn. You've packed yourselves in so tightly. Yeah. Now you're going to have a massive displacement. And I think a lot of this was also talked about in the Enoch prophecies. As the populations grow and natural disasters increase, human beings will become so displaced that they will try to find refuge in other countries. There will be massive migrations that will occur.
There's some other thing I wanted to mention again, and it's come up again and again with a lot of these different people, is that you know how the FIGU group always gets rid of the underbrush and the growth?
Yes, it's very, very important for wildfire management.
Exactly. And
I do it on my property.
Oh, do you? Very good.
It's an active practice here in New Mexico. The Forestry Service does a half decent job with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a group down in Albuquerque that rents out like 120 goats for the Forestry Service, and they go and eat all that underbrush.
That's great.
Oh, it's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous because we're in a very sensitive area over here. Right. And our winds are much, much stronger than the winds that happened in Los Angeles. So we have to be on top of it all the time.
Well, good for you guys. I'm impressed. And they drained a lot of the northern reservoirs just before the fire started. So when and they'll talk about this, when the firemen came in, the hydrants went dry really quick. Mm-hmm. So they had nothing to fight the fire with. So
yeah, that checks out. And then you have to dump chemical fire retardants on there, which are not things that you want to be breathing in or get on your skin. And that
They're
gets
toxic.
dumped on the flora and fauna. Yeah, it's just one mistake leads to many others. And some may say it's conspiracy theory, but I just say it's just bad risk management.
Yeah. Either way.
Either way, it's bad.
Winklevoss
Right. Let's continue.
twins called out Newsom saying this, quote, "You and your party have been tolerating looting for years. You normalize this behavior and lawlessness. You are a disgrace. Resign now." It's a free-for-all in LA. Every man for themselves, literally. Yesterday, local residents had to take down a vagrant with a blowtorch. They witnessed him setting fire to old Christmas trees and garbage cans. Neighbors called 911, and before the police arrived, they detained him with zip ties and a rope. A good old-fashioned citizen's arrest. Here's
Nice.
LAPD.
What we know right now is that the incident occurred, started here, and about 30 minutes later, a suspect was detained over in Woodland Hills.
So, exactly how waterproof is the bearskin
Hang in there.
soft shell jackets? Time to put it to the test.
Woodland Hills area by citizens.
So someone purposely set the Kenneth fire?
At this time, that's what we believe, yes.
Do you know how or why they did that?
That I don't know.
Is this a crime scene right now?
Yes.
So
Of course it's a crime.
It's being investigated as a crime.
So basically, there was arson going on here, too.
Yeah, anything's an excuse. Like when people see the world burning, they'll go to loot. Or if they say, if it's already burning, let's make it burn a little bit more. You know, they'll take whatever sort of sick, twisted ideas they have in their mind and then create some sort of physical cause with it. This happens constantly. It's like the same thing when there's one school shooting, some other kid picks up on the idea and says, I can go do a school shooting. It's the same. Right. It's the same repeat process for sick human beings. And there's many sick human beings that are out there.
Yep. So we need to get people working on their thoughts.
Yeah. If they even care to do so, you can't force them to do it.
Right. I tell you, it's a good thing to do.
It's a great thing to do.
And meditation's going to save your life, probably.
Oh, it'll probably do more than that.
Yeah.
Police brought him down to the station and a few hours later released him back onto the streets. They said there was no probable cause to charge him with arson, even though there was a half a dozen witnesses who saw him setting things on fire and the guy to blowtorch on him when they arrested him. That's not probable cause. So what was he doing with the blowtorch? Lighting a blunt? If this wasn't
that's what I did.
Guy, I'm not sure, because homeless accounted for over half of the fires in LA. Based on that statistic, there's a strong probability that a homeless guy burned the city down. But we're waiting for the investigation to play out. Homes have been completely toasted, and some people say it feels intentional. Here's Mel Gibson.
It's very sad. And there were many things, gone in the blaze that...
Mel's wild. He'll say whatever he wants.
Do what?
Mel Gibson says whatever he wants. This guy is wild.
I like him.
Yeah.
Since I thought, oh, damn, that's too bad. But, works of art, photographs, rare books, old books. Some as old as, 1600, it's like crazy.
Irreplaceable.
And irreplaceable stuff. California has a lot of problems that sort of baffle the mind as far as why they do things. And then in the events like this, you sort of look, well, is it on purpose?
All these fires should have been contained within 24 hours. It's the duty of a politician to prepare for the worst. And everyone saw this fire coming.
I talked to a fireman once. This is one of the reasons it freaked me out. He goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind and fire is going to start in the right place and it's going to burn through LA all the way to the ocean. And there's not a thing we can do about it.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah, it's just bad risk management. And it happens, and they don't know. We had this trouble. We had the largest wildfire in New Mexico history a year and a half, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Started by the Forestry Service because of bad risk management. They went to go do a controlled burn of underbrush on a day when it was planned for a ton of gross wind to come in.
Wow.
And it has displaced so many people, animals, destroyed national forest. And these national forests are huge. These are like the lungs of the United States. And it just destroys them completely.
Yeah, that's so sad. Seeing all of these beautiful trees die. I just have a hard time with that.
Well, do you know that one tree, Mark, pause this for a second. Do you know that one tree, full-grown tree, typically covers about enough oxygen for 12 human beings?
Is that right?
Yeah. So what happens when you're just cutting them down in droves?
I've got, I think I've got 30, 35 trees in my yard here.
Aren't you selfish with your oxygen?
I'd like to have more pine trees, more evergreens. You know, I think evergreens do better in the winter. They seem to.
Plant them then.
Yeah, I planted a few. I've had some trouble with them. The deer like to chew on them. Mm-hmm. But so 20 people per tree?
12.
If it's a 12?
12, like full-grown
mature tree. All right. Let me keep pushing on with this. You're right. The Enoch prophecies talk about hurricane force winds. And these fires are supposed to, at some point, may get to the point where they're raging all over the country, which I can't imagine.
It'll be nonstop, completely unmanageable, and it will burn itself down.
Jeez.
It would just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through LA. And there's not.
At least you guys in New Mexico are doing some of the right stuff. You know,
well, we have to. Yeah. Fortunate for us, I mean, we've been learning how to manage nuclear weapons, so we're trying to figure out how to manage wildfires.
I mean, the people in California, I don't think are doing hardly anything right.
No, and there's too many people. It's too population dense. They're drawing on too many resources. Like there's so many wrong things going on all at once.
Exactly.
Not going to be a thing we could do about it.
So how well was California prepared? Last week, the reservoir in Pacific Palisades was completely empty. There was no water. It could have been filled with 117 million gallons of water. Instead, it was dry and closed for repairs. They closed the Pacific Palisades Reservoir during the season when the Santa Ana winds blow the hardest. And now the whole town's barbecued. And LA's water czar knew it. She basically watched them drain it. That's according to the Daily Mail. Janice Quiones gets paid $750,000 a year. Wonder how she got that job. Gavin Newsom also cut the fire budget by $100 million last year and then vetoed a bill that would have given fire departments.
Can you imagine cutting $100 million out?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, you can't do anything there.
Too many people, too many shit systems, too much financial waste. There's just all of these different factors that feed into it. And this is just an inevitable, Mark.
Seasonal workers when they were short-staffed. Like now. LA Mayor Karen Bass cut her fire department's budget too. LA couldn't even get a simple evacuation alert right. Last night, the whole county panicked.
We're just mapping out here are under mandatory evacuations. And obviously you can hear all of our phones are going off some type of alert, an evacuation warning, it looks like.
Yeah, my alert reads, This is an emergency message from the LA County Fire Department. An evacuation warning has been issued in your area.
Yeah.
This is what this looks like.
Remain vigilant of any threats and be ready to evacuate. Gather loved ones, pets, and supplies. Continue to monitor local weather news and the webpage alertla.org for more information.
Yeah, so these alerts come, based on where you are.
It looks like on my phone.
Yeah, and here we are in West LA, and we're getting an alert. We'll have to look into why.
Guess
what do you mean why?
False
the place
alarm.
is burning, buddy.
No need to
In this case, it was a false alarm, though.
evacuate. The city said, sorry, it was an accident. They're going to give people heart attacks. People are leaping into their EVs and speeding out of town. Oops, never mind. Nothing. I mean, nothing.
Are we out of time already?
Out of time, my friend.
See you in a couple weeks, buddy. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Bye-bye.